Do you know that feeling when you stumble on a series you once loved and suddenly realize you just don't care anymore? That's exactly what happened when I saw the trailer for The Witcher Season 4. I mean, 2 years have passed since Season 3, which isn't even that long by prestige TV standards, and yet I remember almost nothing. It's all a hazy blur in my head, and I don't feel any urge to see how The Witcher continues or ends. And honestly, I just felt sad for poor Liam Hemsworth. It's obviously not his fault. He's stepping into one of the toughest roles imaginable, replacing Henry Cavill after all the controversy around his exit. That's a brutal assignment. But the real question is, how did Netflix manage to ruin one of the most beloved fantasy franchises of our time? Let's rewind and figure out how we got here. When The Witcher first premiered in December 2019, its timing couldn't have been better. Just a few months earlier, Game of Thrones had ended, in flames, both literally and metaphorically. The backlash was massive. Fans were furious over a finale that completely betrayed one of the most beloved series of all time. The audience was starving for a new fantasy epic to believe in, and The Witcher seemed like the perfect heir to that throne. It didn't try to copy Game of Thrones. It carved its own path. More adventure, less politics, and a grittier, more magical, more mythic tone. Netflix also made a point of highlighting the show's faithfulness to Andrzej Sapkowski's books, the notoriously grumpy Polish author who's never been too fond of Hollywood adaptations. It was a smart move. Remind audiences that this story came from the novels, not just the famous CD Projekt Red video games. Then came Henry Cavill. And at first, let's be honest, fans were skeptical. Superman as Geralt? Really? But Cavill's professionalism and dedication quickly won everyone over. He wasn't just playing a role, he was living it. He had read and loved the novels, played the games, and even brought the books to set, rereading certain passages before filming scenes. He genuinely cared, and that passion showed on screen. The first season wasn't perfect, but it worked, and fans of the fantasy genre loved it. It stayed true to the spirit of the books, simple, focused, episodic. Each episode felt like a quest, a self-contained adventure with a raw, slightly old-school flavor. It was rough, sincere, at times even funny, and most importantly, it knew exactly what it wanted to be. Then came Season 2, and that's when, unfortunately, something went wrong. After a promising start, Kaer Morhen, the Bruxa fight, a few touching moments between Geralt and Ciri, the show suddenly collapsed into a messy tangle of politics, random underdeveloped characters, and unnecessary, overly complicated subplots. It started chasing the Game of Thrones formula: court intrigues, endless councils, magical conspiracies, but without the writing or depth to make any of it work. Instead of focusing on Geralt's adventures, the show turned into a series with a Witcher, not about the Witcher. Geralt, the heart of the story, was pushed into the background of his own show. By Season 3, things got even worse. The story became incoherent, the pacing rushed, and that once gritty, rough-edged world turned into a glossy, sterile fantasy soap opera. The Witcher's world is supposed to be muddy, bloody, and raw, a place steeped in folklore, magic, and tightly woven events. Instead, everyone suddenly looked freshly groomed, wearing spotless costumes straight out of a fashion show, with perfect hair, predictable setups, and shallow plots. And then came the final blow: Henry Cavill's exit. Back in 2022, he announced he was leaving the series. Fans were shocked, but when you start connecting the dots, it all makes perfect sense. Cavill had always said he'd stay as long as the writers respected the original source material, but as the show drifted further and further from Sapkowski's world, his frustration grew, reportedly leading to clashes with the showrunners and even moments where he rewrote parts of the script himself just to stay faithful to the books. His departure had nothing to do with scheduling conflicts or Superman. It was a matter of integrity. When he left, the fans left with him, because Cavill wasn't just Geralt. He was the Witcher. A true fan who loved The Witcher for what it really was, not for what Netflix was trying to turn it into. Apparently, Netflix didn't learn the lesson from Game of Thrones' final season. Don't betray the story, and don't disappoint the fans. And that's the real tragedy. Netflix didn't just lose an actor, it lost the trust of its audience. You can change the source material as long as you do it with purpose and quality. But what The Witcher lost wasn't faithfulness, it was authenticity and any sense of logic. Now, with Season 4 on the horizon, it feels like no one really cares anymore. The excitement is gone. The magic is gone. The fans are bitter and disillusioned. And no offense to Liam Hemsworth, an undeniably talented actor, but even he can't resurrect a series that's forgotten what made it special in the first place. A dark, raw, and powerful fairy tale has turned into a glossy, soulless, and senseless product. So what do you think? Are you planning to watch The Witcher Season 4? Or like Henry Cavill, have you already hung up your sword and moved on? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and subscribe to the channel to show your support. And if you'd like to keep going, here's another video from our channel that you might enjoy.